So I think the key for students and for all of us to finding opportunities, making the most opportunities that we find in the social sciences and the humanities is leveraging the position of UJ in Africa. So if you look at the humanities and the social sciences globally, we have quite a difficult position. I mean, most academics working within the humanities and the social sciences are liberal and egalitarian. At the same time, if you are a professor or a student in an elite or even a middle-ranking university in the global north, you're part of a tiny global elite, and that creates this tension, which is a very painful tension for a lot of academics in those countries. It's also the case that a lot of our disciplines look very culturally loaded. Within philosophy, my own discipline, we primarily study, European, dead white guys is the phrase. I mean, European male philosophers. In my department here, we do some African philosophy as well, but the discipline as a whole is culturally tilted. You think of a discipline like anthropology, the idea of anthropology, the very idea of going and studying another people and then coming back to it is one that has its origins in colonial times. So I think we have this is just I'm talking about the disciplines in the abstract now, not at UJ, and I think they are facing some difficulties in overcoming what seem like awkward cultural biases or connections. And I think we are extremely well placed here at UJ to get an audience because of that. So if you're coming from this part of the world, merely because you're coming from this part of the world, you get some credibility. And I think the key to making the most of our opportunities is to recognizing that and leveraging it as a competitive advantage, which goes back to the things I've been saying before about making sure that our work is connected. And I don't mean that all of our work has to be about South Africa. I don't believe that just because you're working in Africa or because you're from Africa, you can't talk about anything other than Africa. That's something I just don't accept. And I think that we should move past that way of thinking if we're going to be global players. But it does mean, I think, that we can bring a kind of an approach which is much more socially conscious, much more connected with what's out there and with the real questions that people ask. And I think if one has that approach and one is coming from UJ, then I think one does have a real competitive advantage in the global scene.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.